episode 609 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You're listening to a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering. Whether you are trapped in the haunted halls of Duskmorn or you're just having a nice normal day, we're here for you.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Megan.
And on today's episode, happy official start to fall, everybody.
Wow, it's true. As of
So
yesterday,
excited. Yes, I'm so excited.
The autumnal equinox.
I felt the balance of the earth, the veil shift, and the temperature finally get cooler. Thank God.
I didn't put on I wore this shirt just out the house today.
And you're like, oh,
and I was
it's chilly.
Yeah, I didn't go back because I don't go back.
We're celebrating the start of fall with the release of Duskmorn. The pre-release was last weekend. We're going to tell you all about our pre-release experience. Spoiler alert, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk too about the release because that's coming up this weekend, everybody.
So exciting.
The set just dropped on Arena.
I like it. You know what? I like it. The
Hot
end.
take. Hot take.
End. I like it. Wait, that's right. It drops. Okay, it has dropped on Arena.
It's dropped on Arena, and it's going to drop tomorrow. If you're listening to this the day the podcast released on Thursday, on stores on Friday.
Oh.
So head to your LGS, pick up some Duskmorn stuff. Go play some Duskmorn. Some drafts firing this weekend, I bet.
Yeah, have a nice time.
I'm so excited. Anyway, we'll talk all about the spookiness that is Duskmorn, and we're going to crack a pack because we've got a fresh pack of Duskmorn here and play Flavor Text Theater movie pitches.
Yeah.
To celebrate spooky season, I've got a feeling, Megan, these might be all horror movies.
Wow. What? Okay, here's the challenge.
Not a horror movie?
We each get one horror movie, but then that's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Yeah, right.
I know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Before we kick off the show, huge thanks to everybody who makes the show actually happen, starting with the best people who do so, which are our patrons.
Yes, thank you so much to all of our patrons.
Our patrons,
past, present, and future.
Yes.
And thank you so much, especially to our new patrons, Eric and Matt.
Yay! Thank you so much, Eric and Matt.
Matt, your donation matters the most.
Hey, that one's pretty good.
You matter to us, Matt.
Hey, Eric, I'm not scared of you, even if I was in Duskmorn, because you're a patron.
That one was really good. Wow, 2 bangers this week.
Wow, that's the level of banger pun you can expect if you become a patron at $5 a month or more, or increase your pledge by any dollar amount.
Wow, I was about to say, we definitely expended our best ones this week. So definitely sign up to become a new patron next week because your pun is sure to be a monstrosity.
Yeah, that's how it goes. It's the equilibrium of the pun world. They can't all be good. There must be balance in the universe.
They cannot all be good, then they would not be puns.
You've got to go to patreon.com/GLHF Magic to sign up. You get awesome perks, access to our Discord server. You get longer episodes if you become a patron at our producer level, which our friend, who did it this week?
Who is a producer? Matt.
So Matt did that this week, became a producer. You get longer episodes every single week, which is really cool. It can be different topics that we talk about. Sometimes they're magic related, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're a 30-minute rant about Madam Web, which I think that pays for itself.
I think that one, I think that is that's your money put to good use.
And you get access to all our back catalog of extended episodes too once you become a producer, which is very cool. So check out that and all the other perks over on patreon.com/GLHF Magic.
Also, thank you to Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com/GLHF, the place to go for all of your singles, all of your booster packs, all of your Magic playing needs.
So you can now buy Duskmorn to come to your house because it's going to be off of pre-order and over to order on Friday. If you ordered soon enough, you get Duskmorn essentially the day that it comes out with Card Kingdom, which I think is a very cool thing that they offer too. If you want to place an order for singles, Valgavoth is popping off, as the kids say.
Wow.
Just
all
kidding.
right.
I don't think kids say popping off anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but
at all.
It was a nice try.
Yeah. You can go ahead and get that over at Card Kingdom. If you place an order, all of the cards you order will come in one package to your house, which is really nice. You're not waiting there and one getting lost in the mail or whatever if you buy from other sellers. So that's one of the things that you can get over at Card Kingdom. Be sure to use the link, cardkingdom.com/GLHF for anything you order.
Card Kingdom, they'll come to your house.
Great slogan. Great slogan. We also want to say thank you to Dragon Shield for being our sleeve sponsor on Good Luck High Five.
Thank you so much. They are currently celebrating their 25th anniversary, their silver anniversary with these gorgeous silvery sleeves.
I can't wait for the wooden anniversary to get some wood sleeves.
I think that passed.
Yeah, I think it's
in the past.
When is the wood
anniversary?
Wood anniversary.
All right, great question.
Okay, the 5th anniversary.
Oh, is
the wood.
Which one's the dragon anniversary?
I don't think that exists, but it might be like 300 or something. Should at least be the dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you think the 26th is? I just looked it up. This is also going to be cool for sleeves.
All right.
And impractical.
Silver. I'm going to go with, wow. What? I feel like I can't. I'm gonna go with one of the lesser known gems.
Yeah,
like a peridot.
Hey, that's great. One of my favorite gems, of course.
Yeah. Green.
Green. This is the 26th is the jade anniversary, so you're not far off. Actually,
I was much closer than I would have anticipated.
Also a green rock, for lack of a better way of putting it.
I guessed a green rock, and it was a green rock.
Somebody at our pre-release was using these 25th anniversary sleeves, by the way.
They look so good.
They're so cool.
Yes.
And now you're gonna think that I'm not telling the truth when I say what I'm about to say, but I guarantee you,
you're not telling the truth.
This is a fact that happened to me. We had a 4-round pre-release at Lodestone Coffee and Games. No big deal. The best game store in Minneapolis area. And I was using the Starry Night Dragon Shield sleeves, which have a dragon that looks like he's been painted into Starry Night. My first round, my opponent's like, oh, 6 sleeves. And I'm like, thanks, the Dragon Shield, wink. And then my second round is like, oh my God, I love your sleeves. And I was like, thanks, Dragon Shield. And I was like, can this continue for all 4 rounds? And it did.
Wow.
Every single round, my opponent said, you have awesome sleeves. The pearlescent Starry Night ones that you can get on Dragon Shield. And it became funny because I was like, surely not all of them are going to say great sleeves.
You can have every single person you play say great sleeves.
Every single person did.
Dragon Shield.
Check them out. Use the link in the show notes or under the YouTube video. That's our affiliate link. Please and thank you. It helps us when you order that way.
And you get a discount.
You do. GLHF is the code to use at checkout for 5% off. All right, everyone. I hope you had a very happy Duskmorn pre-release, despite the fact that you were locked in a mansion with no way out and a horrible sadist at the heart of it, who also happens to be a moth. Weird.
And a demon.
And a demon moth.
I like that you just kind of you're like, oh, a sadist and a moth. That is neither of those are the first thing that I would say about him.
About Valgavoth?
What's the first thing I would say? Demon, and then after that, the other stuff.
I suppose it is the most important factor of its existence.
If you're like, oh, you're trapped in a house with a moth, I'm like, I'm fine.
You say that until a moth comes at your face out of nowhere, which happened to me the other night.
But you're fine.
Well, yeah, I did survive.
There you go. Sadist? Okay, I am scared. I don't like it.
The moth came at me in the bathtub at my most vulnerable.
So I would argue that you had an encounter with a sadist moth, already, and you were fine?
I survived. I made it. I made it out alive. I was the final girl and the only girl. Let's take a look and talk about a pre-release overall. I thought the set was super fun, first of all. And I had a lot of fantastic opponents. Shout out if you're now listening to this or watching this episode. You were all great. There weren't as many people there as at Bloomborough.
That's true, but what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Bloomborough. You can't beat it.
You can't beat it.
I'm just saying that because I'm going to be curious of which one ends up selling better, because this is where they put usually their number one hit set, right? So that's just something I'm personally curious about. I opened doors. Why do I keep calling them that? Rooms. I opened rooms.
I mean, they go together.
In my sealed pool, which is a feat because you do need a critical mass of payoffs and enablers in you don't need it. What am I trying to say?
A room by itself.
A room is fine. But if you want to do the
Maria.
Great. A room is great by itself.
See, there we go. We got there.
What am I trying to say? I had both. I was a luck sack, I did. I luck sacked out. I had cards that cared about rooms. I had cards that wanted to be good rooms that were good rooms.
Yeah.
What am I saying?
I don't know, but you just keep going.
I'm struggling. Anyway, if you're watching the video version of this, you can see my deck laid out before you in all of its glory. If you're listening to the podcast, there's a link of it in the show notes so you can check out a picture. Blue-red rooms, which is what Blue-red wants you to be doing in this set. And I had 4 rooms in my pool. Could have been more, but let's not get greedy, including a rare room. So let's talk about my rare room because this one was the most exciting. Roaring Furnace and Steaming Sauna. Very good.
Yes.
So Roaring Furnace is 1 in a red. When you unlock this door, this room deals damage equal to the number of cards in your hand a target creature and opponent controls, which is pretty good.
Great.
Even if you have it late in the game, you'll probably do 2 to something, which is worth for 2 mana. Who cares? And then Steaming Sauna, when you unlock that room, 3 blue, you have no maximum hand size. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card.
Sick.
This card, I felt bad unlocking the Steaming Sauna. I felt guilty. I just drew a card at the end of my turn for 5 mana.
Yeah.
I think I came up to Megan and I said, this effect should be 6. And you said it should be 7.
I said it should be 7.
It was a fabulous, terrible feeling. The other rooms that I had, I love the Glassworks. Which
yes, I had a Glassworks. So good.
I think the Glassworks is going to be the one that you're really looking for in room deck. It's a common. The first side, the Glassworks is great. 2 in a red. When you unlock it, it deals 4 damage to target creature and opponent controls. And the Shattered Yard is going to close out the game for you, which is 4 in a red. At the beginning of your end step, this room deals 1 damage to each opponent.
Great.
So, I mean, that's just going to be your bread and butter in the rooms deck. I had a room enabler, which enabled me to unlock doors of more rooms, which is the Smoky Lounge Misty Salon. 2 in a red. At the beginning of your main phase, you add double red to cast rooms that unlock doors. And the Misty Salon is great because it's a payoff, because when you have a bunch of rooms, you maybe are cutting creatures. I didn't have as many creatures as I normally run. You get an XX Spirit where with flying.
I want to be clear that Maria had 13 creatures, which is a fine number of creatures.
Here's the thing.
It's not, that's not, no one's like, only 13
creatures. That was me.
Normal.
Okay, I was struggling with it. I had a struggle bus moment when I was building this pool, because I also built green-white because I had a couple of green-white rares. And I was like, oh, but the rooms thing is so cool. And then I was like, yeah, but you only have 13 creatures. Are you going to be able to handle playing this deck? And I got really nervous, but I said, no, Maria, it's pre-release. You can't just fall back on your laurels or rest on them, as the case may be. You've got to step outside of the box.
You have to fall back on them in order to rest on them.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I decided to, be a little scared and play something with fewer creatures than I would play. It was totally fine. Anyway, it makes you a spirit that flies. It's based on the number of unlocked doors you have. It's stupid. And I also had the Meat Locker and the Drowned Diner. The Meat Locker is great because this deck helps you tempo out, and it stuns something for 2 turns. And then when you unlock the second door, you draw 3 cards and discard a card.
Great. Very good.
The rooms are great, everybody. So Megan, just tell us why. Okay, the rooms deck is awesome and sweet. It's the new mechanic. You want to play with it. But why are they so good?
So much card for card. Here at Good Luck High Five, we talk about how much card for card. So much. You get 2 card for card.
It's just 2 cards.
The rooms are 2 cards for card.
They're 2 cards.
And every room, I feel like, is at least, you have like 1 good card and 1 card that's fine.
Yes.
At worst.
At worst.
You have good card and fine card.
Right.
But they're all just 1 card.
They're all just 1 card. Like this card, the rare, is 2 cards.
2 cards.
You would play this
You would play
as
both
2
of them.
cards. The Smoky Lounge is like a card, 1.5 card.
Yes. Is already great card.
This Meat Locker Drowned Diner, I would argue, is 2 card.
Wait, this Smoky Lounge Misty Salon is 2 card.
You think
also.
that's 2 card?
Oh, that's
this
2
one's
card.
2 card.
That's 2 card also.
Sticky Tap and then draw and discard.
I'd play both those.
Glassworks Scattered Yard, also 2 cards.
I would call this 1.5. Like, Shattered Yard is fine. I did have a
that's
lot of
true.
people
I'm not
target this
gonna
room with
pay
removal
that.
once I unlocked the Shattered Yard. So I will say that I did kill someone with it. All right, you know what? Yeah, 2 cards. Fine. I was unsure, but 2 cards.
1.75 cards.
Yeah.
I'm slightly worried that this deck is overpowered.
We're worried about rooms.
Yes.
Well, remember, if it gets overdrafted, then it's going to be bad.
That's true. So maybe it will balance itself out. But that's my initial take. Your initial take. These rooms are stupid. It's 2 cards.
Rooms are very good. Rooms are very good.
And then you get stuff that is happy when you play rooms, right? Yeah. So I had a payoff card here in Rampaging Soul Rager, great name, which is a 1/4 for 3 mana, but becomes a 4/4 if you unlock 2 or more unlocked doors, which is not hard to do. 3 mana 4/4.
Yeah. Pretty nice.
And then you've got stuff that you can sacrifice, like your rooms later for value if you want. I had Diversion Specialist. This is the 4/3 with Menace. 1, sacrifice another creature enchantment, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn.
Nice.
Okay, that's not the one I was thinking about, but whatever. You can do that if your rooms have ceased to be of use to you. Oh, I was thinking of this whatever card, which is the Boiler Bilge's Ripper. Jack the Ripper, I guess, 4/4, and when it ETBs, you can sack a creature and enchantment deals 2 to any target.
Nice.
So get rid of
I got killed by that.
Your rooms. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's good. This deck was great. It went 3-1. It felt the rooms. If I didn't draw my rooms, I didn't feel great. When I drew my rooms, I feel like I couldn't lose.
Nice.
That's how it felt.
Yeah.
I played a couple of the little Piranha Flies, just a 2/1 flyer enters tapped.
Yeah.
Great card.
Great card.
Don't care.
Great card. Flyers.
Love that card.
They're good.
Silent Hall Creeper was another rare I played, which is the 1/1.
Oh, I like that guy.
For 1 and a blue. He's great.
Yeah.
And he gets bonuses when you deal combat damage. He gets 2 counters, then he draws you cards, and then he turns into something else.
Nice.
In whatever order you want, quite frankly. I don't know. This deck was fabulous. I loved every part of it. Unwilling Vessel. That's another one I'll just call out. I think this card is very, very good. It's an uncommon. It's a 3/2 for 2 and a blue Vigilance, which ended up being like very great for this creature because it has Eerie, and when you cast an enchantment or fully unlock a room, you get to put a possession counter on it, and then when it dies, it turns into that ghost of that thing.
Great.
With flying. I just want to point that out as well.
Love it.
Card is sick. And Unnerving Grasp. This is the card I wanted to call out.
I played 2 of these. This card is so good.
So good, everybody. So good. Take as many of these as you can.
This is 2 and a blue sorcery. Return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Manifest Dread. What?
So good.
2 card for card.
Good. It's
Let
2
me tell you,
card.
that one is straight up 2 card for card.
There's a card in green.
2 card for card.
It's just the second half of this.
Exactly.
It's 1 mana cheaper, but whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, do you want tack a mana on there and let me bounce something?
Fine.
Yes, please.
I'll take that deal.
Yes, please.
Card is great.
Very good.
I had so much fun playing with this deck.
Yeah.
The rooms it's just a great mecanic. We knew it would be.
Yeah,
and
rooms are great.
Itself.
Really into them. Really fun.
Manifest Dread. Let's talk about that for a moment since we just mentioned it.
So good. Love Manifesting Dread.
Excellent.
So good.
It is excellent.
I had a lot of lands become 2/2 creatures.
Right.
It was very polite of them.
You're like, thank you, don't need you. Please become a 2/2 for me. And your opponent doesn't know.
Yeah.
Which makes them even spookier.
Yeah.
You know? I kind of have, I realized throughout the day I adopted the mentality that it's a land.
Wow. I did not do that.
I mean, I just felt like at some point I was like, whatever, it's a land.
Yeah.
I was usually right.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're not. Because I feel like, you're whatever. I won't say what I was gonna say, but like it's just so very good. Having that card selection is massive, and also sometimes very sad because you see these 2 cards and you're like, ooh, I would have really loved to draw them.
Let me tell you, there's plenty of times that I put an unnerving grasp into my graveyard.
Oh, so sad.
Which that one was rough, but
the pain.
You know what? Oh well,
pain.
Right?
But
it's just as if it's on the bottom of your deck.
Exactly, it's
you
random.
You wouldn't have drawn it anyways.
But yeah, I think it's extremely strong.
Yeah, so good. Love it.
Yeah, rooms, great.
All right.
Draft them if you can, everybody.
Yeah.
Build them if you got them. I'm going to tell a room story while
Build them if you got them.
While you got your
Build them if you got them.
Your deck out here.
Yeah.
So I played in the early access streamer event. I didn't stream it. I just played, giving some people some opponents. Is the way I'm going to put it. And I wanted to draft rooms really badly. So I jumped into a queue and I'm like, okay, let's draft rooms. I'm going to kind of force it. And you kind of can because I believe it was a quick draft. So like the bots sometimes yield to your intentions in those drafts. Anyway, I drafted a rooms deck and it was really bad. It was not open. I shouldn't have been in that lane, but I was like, I wanted to try it. So I drafted it. It was a very bad version of the rooms deck. I had crappy rooms. There's a few of them. I didn't have great enablers, whatever. But I'm like, hey, I'm going to jump in and play this anyway. It's an early access event. People need opponents. Let's go. I jump in, and who do I immediately queue into? I want you to guess.
LSV.
That's correct. Yep. I told this story at pre-release a few times, and everybody guessed LSV correctly when I asked them that question on the first guess. Good job. It was LSV. And what do you think he was playing, Megan?
Rooms.
That's right. He was playing the best Rooms deck that, I mean, like, look, it's early. I haven't seen many, but I think may ever exist in the format. He tweeted it out so you can go and look at it. And he was like, I didn't lose a single game in this run with this deck. It was totally busted and a nightmare for my opponents. And I'm going to tell you, it was a nightmare. I felt so much shame playing my horrible version of his masterpiece. It's like I'm sitting across from, you know, Michelangelo painting the Sistine Chapel, and I'm also painting the Sistine Chapel, but I'm doing like toilet seat in the bathroom. I was like,
it's finger paints.
It's finger paints. It was so, I have never... The only time I was more embarrassed is when I queued into Reduke with a deck with no lands on Magic Online.
That's also a good story.
Many years ago. That was more embarrassing, but this was very embarrassing. So if you were watching him and you saw me just lose terribly, know on the other end of that I was feeling like the world's
shame.
biggest shame
Only
pile.
a lot of shame.
Anyway, what have you've also built Rooms?
I also ended up with blue-red. I would say mine is a little bit more like Flyers-y.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not going to complain about that.
One thing that I'm going to say about this deck is that Delirium, or the set, Delirium, so easy.
Yeah.
If you remember Delirium from when it was in Spooky Moon.
Yep.
It was very possible, but it was a little bit harder. In this deck, I was like not ever even trying. I wasn't ever worried about it. I
Delirium.
wanted to reach it, but then I would like go to cast one of my cards that cared about it, and I'd be like, yeah, I have land, instant, sorcery, creature.
Yep.
Or I have like enchantment, creature, land, sorcery. Because it's very easy with Manifest Dread to put lands into your graveyard.
Good point.
Or there's some other like ways that I had like draw and discard to get lands into my graveyard, and then there's so many enchantment creatures.
Yep.
That's two types.
Exactly.
So it was exceptionally easy to have Delirium, which let me tell you, this card is one of my favorite cards that I played. It is horrifying because it's Fear of Burning Alive.
Okay, well,
absolutely.
I would argue everybody's scared of that.
Yeah, that one's definitely one of my like. I don't think about it much because it's absolutely horrifying.
I mean,
but
do you have occasion to think about it very much?
No, but you ever think about like, oh, if I had been in the past, they would have thought I was a witch.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We're not escaping those
No, we're witches.
allegations.
Like, right, according to people of the past, we would be witches. Anyways, so this is an enchantment creature nightmare. As Fear of Burning Alive enters, it deals 4 damage to each opponent.
Sick.
One, let me tell you, it like... 4 is a ton.
It's a lot.
4 is a lot of damage. And so I would like get in an attack for 4 and then 4 someone with this. And it's like, I just did 8 damage in a turn.
It's a fifth of their life total.
Exactly. 4 is, yes. I thought for a second that you were saying 8 was, and I was like, I'm not I can't approach that. I can't do this.
Math.
Okay, but this has Delirium. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, Fear of Burning Alive deals that amount of damage to target creature that player controls. So if you have Delirium, this 4s your opponent and 4s a creature.
Holy cow, this is an uncommon?
This is an uncommon.
Yikes.
And I had 2 of them.
Cost 6. Okay.
So it costs 6, but let me tell you, at 6 mana, I was like,
that's a
I will 4 them.
Card.
I will 4 them, and most of the time I would also 4 a creature.
Of course you are, because you're at 6 mana. By the time you get to 6 mana,
you have Delirium.
You've got Delirium.
Exactly.
The only time I needed Delirium was some card that does 6 to a creature, and then if you have Delirium, you get a little bonus.
Oh, cute.
It was a removal spell, and so I didn't really even care Impossible Inferno, and I had it. You know, I checked. I didn't even care about that. I just wanted to kill the creature. The Delirium bonus is you can exile the top card of your library and play it until the end of your next turn.
Like again, rooms also help with it. Like for me, it was mostly manifesting dread, and then I would end up with a room in my graveyard, which is an enchantment. So great. I had 2 great other creatures, like
Ooh,
2
look at
rare
that
creatures.
mythic.
Yes, Overlord of the Flood Pits. This is 3 blue for a 5/3 flying. When it enters or attacks, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. And Impending 4 for 1 blue.
Sick.
I only ever cast it for its impending cost once, when I really needed to draw and discard at 3.
Yeah.
I usually had enough going on that I could just wait and cast this on 5, so it was a creature.
Wow. Excellent.
Anyways, he was great, obviously. 5/3 flyer, get the job done. Enduring Courage.
A Glimmer. The Fox Glimmer.
The Dog Glimmer.
Oh, that's the dog
Dog
one.
Glimmer, but everyone exile him before he do his thing because he's so spooky. 2 red
Yeah,
red
he
for a
is.
3/3. Whenever another creature you control enters, it gets +2/+0 and gains haste until end of turn.
Disgusting.
And then this is the one, if it dies, if it was a creature returned to the battlefield under its owner's control, it's an enchantment. It never died. It only ever got exiled.
Oh, poor
It was so,
pupper.
never once did this dog give someone else haste. But
Well,
it's because he's so good.
he's just so good.
He could not be allowed to stay on the battlefield. That's not true. I think that one game my opponent did try to get me to trade it away, and I didn't, and then I won on the next turn.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously.
this card is-
like, what else could you do?
So good. Okay, so somebody played against me, and then
Yeah.
they played the Gremlins make three Gremmies card,
Oh, yep.
and they also had Toby, friend to Beasties
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever that card is that makes you a 4/4. And, I'm going to tell you a quick story. And also they had the Balloon Man.
Yeah.
And they kept copying Toby to make Toby in the 4/4. Anyway, the point is Toby gives, I believe it's Toby who gives your tokens if you have 4 or more of them flying. So it was a bunch of like plus from the Enduring Courage gremlins who were flying.
Well, all right. You
I lost
did.
that game.
I was going to say, you did.
Lost that game.
Another great card I want to call out. This is a great uncommon. Infernal Phantom. This is 3 and a red for a 2/3 eerie. Whenever an enchantment you control enters, and whenever you fully unlock a room, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. And when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
it's a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
You almost like you get to kill a creature that's 2 toughness, or you get to 2 their face, or you get to kill a creature that's 4 toughness because you had eerie. Once I made it a 6/3 because I had like played an enchantment and unlocked something.
Yeah.
So it was a 6/3, and they like had to trade, but then I just got to 6 their face anyways. God.
Nasty.
Great card.
You're running 2 copies of Trial of Agony in here.
Yes. Do you know what? I like it. You need to be playing it in a tempo deck. It cannot be straight up removal.
Let me tell you
right?
what it does.
Yeah.
This is a single red sorcery. Uncommon. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by the same opponent. That player chooses one of those creatures. Trial of Agony deals 5 damage to that creature, and the other one can't block this turn. So one is not blocking and one's
Yeah.
getting 5'd, but they can choose.
They can choose. But let me tell you, it sucks.
Yeah, it's a bad
It
choice.
still sucks for them.
You got to cut off your arm.
It still sucks for them.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's very good. Again, it's mostly good in a tempo deck because you want to kill something and then make the other thing not block and
Correct.
get in an attack.
Right.
Yeah. As you can see, I have Meat Locker,
Yep.
2 copies,
2 meat lockers.
and 2 Drowned Diners.
What do you do with 2 meat lockers in your mansion? Got a lot of meat.
Got a lot of meat. I also
the
had a
Glassworks.
Glassworks. I had this underwater tunnel and slimy aquarium. Slimy aquarium is the funniest one to me. It just manifests.
I loved the moldering gym. That was my favorite one
Oh, I didn't see Moldering Gym. That's very funny.
That's a green one where you go and get a land and then you manifest and put 3+1/+1 counters on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's the least scary room that they have in this? And I was like, just a gross gym.
Just a gross gym. I don't know, Maria. Gross gyms are pretty gross.
Pretty terrifying.
And like I could talk about so many of these cards for forever because I really loved them. There are 2 more that I just want to call out real quick. Irreverent Gremlin.
Well, cutest
I
card.
know, cutest card, and also just really good.
Very good card.
It has
Cute and
Menace.
good.
It's a 2/2, and whenever another creature you control power 2 or less enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Do this only once each turn. Again, really good for triggering Delirium.
Yep.
Because the creature enters and you can discard a land. And also
Beautiful.
just good for like whatever, like it's at 2 mana. You only need this and another card to really help smooth your draw, right? Like if you're flooding, you can get rid of a land. If you need lands, you can get rid of something expensive. It's just like it's so good.
I feel like every card in your deck is good.
I've also felt that way. And then Fear of Falling. This card is busted. I had 2 of these.
I had one of those, yeah.
It's so good. 3 blue for a 4/4 flying, just to start out with.
Yep.
Whenever it attacks, target creature defending player controls gets -2/-0 and loses flying until your next turn. That means
Don't
during
think I read
their
that card
turn-
correctly. Thank
Let
you.
me tell you, I did so many times because I did a double take, and then every time my opponents were like, so it still has -2/-0? And I was like, yeah. It makes it like they can't, like, what are they
Holy
going to
cow,
do?
It just
They
it
cannot
always
attack.
does.
Like they can attack, but it's attacking for 2 less. It like gets rid of I killed so many people with this because they had one flying blocker, and you're just like, okay,
and you're like,
not
who
that
cares?
anymore.
Yeah.
You make it, there's like the 4/2 reach spider, and you can hit this with it, and it's like, well, you can block, but like it's not going to trade anymore. Now your spider just dies. It's so good.
Holy
This card
cow.
is so good. It makes it so hard for them to race because you attack with it. You attack for 4,
yes,
and they attack for 2 less.
Yeah. And that's another power of the rooms deck that we're finding, I think, is that the tempo game is so strong because we've got these cards like Glassworks that are able to deal with little things. We have Trial of Agony, which only costs 1 mana. We have that Bounce and Manifest spell that I talked about. So while you're playing rooms, you're not falling behind because you're able to deal with your opponent's stuff.
Going.
And then you just play a 2/1 flyer and you win.
I also went 3-1.
Yep.
I lost a match to the card that's an O-ring that goes on a creature and gives it +1/+0 ward 2 and lifelink.
Yeah, let's talk about that card.
Let's talk about that card because let me tell you, I was
what the heck is it called? Hold on.
In this match, I won the middle game and then I lost the first and third games.
Yeah.
And the first game I was winning and then they played that card.
Well, you can't. What are you?
And like I was just like, there's nothing I can do about this.
What
at this
are
point.
you going to do? Let me find it really quick. This is kind
and like
of
I even had plenty of bounce and like removal, but at that point it was like late in the game and it's like they put it on a 5/5 and you have to be able to hit it for ward, like the ward 2 also.
So
lifelink. Okay, let's talk about the why on any of these things.
Sure, go for it.
Let's find the cards that we
Where
can
the
read
heck is it?
It's like
it's white, right? I'm not losing my mind. Why can't I see it? Why can't I find it? Where are you?
Sheltered by Ghosts.
There
it is.
Sheltered by Ghosts. Okay.
Everything about this card is the stupidest thing I've ever read in my life.
All right, you ready to get stupid? Here we go. 1 and a white.
Okay, let's start there. How much?
2 mana. Enchantment Aura. Enchant creature you control. So you do need a creature, okay? But don't worry about it. We'll get to that in a second. When Sheltered by Ghosts enters, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until Sheltered by Ghosts leaves the battlefield.
It's any non-land permanent.
It's
a non-land permanent, not a creature. Any non-land permanent. Okay, keep going.
Enchanted creature gets +1/+0. And you might think, oh, that's okay. I can 2-for-1 them. But no. It has lifelink and it has ward 2.
Why? Any of the, like, do you know what? You can cut that entire last line. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has lifelink and ward 2. Cut that whole line. This is still a great card that you play every copy of.
I play it. This card, people are already talking about it as like one of the busted breakouts of the set. It's an uncommon, but
it's absurd. The life, like, right? And that's
the lifelink.
Okay, it gets +1/+0. Okay, fine. I'm still mad. It gets ward 2. Why? Okay, do you know what? You're trying to prevent 2-for-1s. You're trying to make it more expensive.
Lifelink.
Lifelink. I think that's the word that I have the most issue with on this card. That and the mana cost. Okay, the mana cost being 1 and a white. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I think it's too much. I think the +1/+0 lifelink. I think you just give it ward 2, and that's
exactly.
fine.
I think ward 2, you'd be okay. Even honestly, +1/+0. Okay, it's not getting any tougher. It's getting slightly more powerful.
Okay,
Who even cares? Lifelink, you can't race it. They took your creature, and you cannot race them anymore.
That's a great point.
Like that was the thing for me. It's like, okay, if they take it. Right, they've done something pretty good.
Yeah,
they've removed your creature. They now have a protected creature. It's like they've already made the race tougher because you lost your creature and they have a more powerful creature.
But the
fact that they give it lifelink just means like I just think that this card you're like, oh, you left them no outs. You cast the spell, you have no outs.
Yes, I agree. I didn't get played against me. Thank the Grombus Lord of us all that in the pre-release.
The 2 times it got played against me, I lost that game.
Yeah, but in the streamer event, it certainly did. And I think the card is, I'll go on a limb, I think it's too good. The other O-ring effect we have in the set is Trapped in the Screen, which is 2 and a white for an enchantment, ward 2. So it also doesn't say anything. It says artifact, creature, or enchantment. I don't understand. This one is common. This one, and you're like, okay. I accept this cost. It has ward 2, which is an improvement over all the stuff that, in a way that we've seen in the past. But this one being 2 mana, having a creature is not a huge drawback. You're not worried about getting 2-for-1. It's
1 and a white. 1?
So
1 and a white.
Not quite sure what the thought was behind pushing that one so far. And like, I'm a Boggles player saying this to you.
1 and a white? Lifelink?
Lifelink.
I just can't with this. Like,
Yeah.
what is this card?
What is what is this card?
For
Truly
a while,
of
but
the
like,
year.
what is this card? 2 mana?
Lifelink?
Lifelink? You're telling me that if it's turn 4, you could cast this and something else?
And then you win the game the
And then
next
you
turn.
win the game? You're telling me that not only does your creature have ward 2, it has lifelink?
What is this card?
What is this card?
Oh, it's awful.
It's really a bummer.
But that bummer card aside, it was a very, very cool day overall.
Yes, I had a great time.
I lost to somebody playing like a super sick like rooms deck in multicolor.
Oh.
Very cool.
I will say, I love the card Cursed Windbreaker because
It's a cursed windbreaker.
Very funny. It's also a very good card.
Yeah, I like it. It gives flying, and
Yeah.
what does it do? You manifest and then it gives flying?
It's an equipment.
Oh, okay.
But when it enters, you manifest Dread and then attach it to the 2/2. But then you can always equip it for 3 to get something else flying, which is very nice.
I love it. I love the fact that a jacket is an equipment.
Exactly. I love that specifically it's a windbreaker.
jacket.
A light jacket.
Barely a jacket.
Not a heavy jacket. Light jacket.
I loved the themes and the flavor of the set.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to get
had a
in
great time.
and draft this more. And I'm also very excited for seeing this at the World Championship next month with draft.
Yeah.
It's just ticking all the boxes for me, and hopefully we don't get out of control with that friggin' 1 in a white card running rampant on us.
I'm just gonna draft enchantment removal. And it's good in the set anyways.
Yeah, it
right?
just is good.
It's good in the set anyways. All right, Maria.
Yes.
It is time for Flavor Text Theater movie pitches.
Time for me to crack my very first pack of Duskmorn.
Ooh, wait, you went to the pre-release.
Well, outside of the pre-release.
Oh, okay.
In my IRL crack of the pack.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I've got that Gremlins card as our art card
Cute.
that I was talking about earlier. Make 3 Grem.
So in Flavor Text Theater movie pitches, we have cracked this pack of Duskmorn.
Yes.
We are going to
Planes.
look at these cards and we're going to pitch movies to you based on the titles of these cards.
Ooh. You said we could only do 1 horror movie? That's what you said?
Yep. Only one. Okay, you can do as many as you want.
Well, we'll see. I'm just bemoaning my fact because of the first card.
I already looked at mine and I'm going to make it into like not a
horror movie?
Yeah.
Okay. What's going to happen in my movie is this is kind of it's a B movie. It's kind of a Star Wars ripoff. It was made for a very low budget. But whoever made it has a real vendetta with how the Jedi are represented in Star Wars, particularly in the prequels. Because they come off looking like the dumbest set of people you've ever seen in your life. Like, they are not smart.
I think it's kind of true to life sometimes.
Yeah,
you know?
and maybe that was the point. Maybe they were supposed to be a group of idiots, but they were really not
a group
good.
of it. Okay,
I mean, and they had the Force, and still they made some horrible decisions. And this person is like, no, the Jedi were supposed to be so strong and powerful and smart. They should have seen all of this coming. I'm going to remake the movie, but instead of Jedi, it's going to be a bunch of demons who come from the underworld, and it is in the Star Wars universe. I'm going to point out. So it's like everyone. This is really bad. You can see it at a theater at midnight, and you throw spoons at the screen. They make their own version of a big group that goes to fight evil in the world, but they're the evil. They're not fighting evil. They're manifesting evil right and left. And they take out the Jedi Council and replace them with themselves rising up in the Star Wars universe. So this is post, we're going to have to figure out where this comes on the timeline. But anyway, it's called Demonic Council.
Love it. Love it.
A lot of younglings going down in this movie.
Also love that art.
It's great art.
Okay, this is a film where it takes place at a like at a circus or at like a midway.
Okay.
And
so I'm already scared.
Exactly. There's like a guy. We see like this kid grow, right? Like in the opening montage, we see this like kid grow up like on a farm, and like when the circus comes to town, he's like really like overjoyed by it.
Yeah.
So he grows up and he is like he like grows, right? He's like huge, right? He's like 7 feet tall and like broad.
Basketball player.
And so he grows up and he becomes like he decides to become a circus clown because that's what he wants.
Wow, that's scary. He's so tall and big and is a clown.
Yes.
I'm
and he's
terrified.
a circus clown. And he's at this circus, and like all of a sudden at the circus, like people start going missing. And we see other people, like we see through the eyes of other people in the circus from their POV throughout most of the movie. We see them seeing this clown doing really, like they see him like hacking up something, right?
So like the clown did it.
Exactly. And we like, right, they see him like hauling like this trunk away.
Okay.
But then that's always cut with what's happening from the clown's perspective, which is just him like always doing like it's like the cook being like, oh my God, I'm so overworked. Like, I'm so tired. And the clown being like, I can help you.
Help you chop
and so he
this
like
meat.
helps chop stuff, or like someone being like, oh my gosh, I put right, like I'm getting rid of all of this junk, but like I can't drag it to the dump. Like I'm not strong enough. And so he's like, I'll do it. And so it's like they end up going, it's like classic Frankenstein, right? Where at the end, like all of the circus people like chase
run him
him
out of
town. And then everything at the circus just like descends into like chaos
because
and crap.
he wasn't there
because
helping.
he was there helping
A
them.
tragedy.
Exactly. And at the end, it's just like the shot of like, you know, like one, like the person who like framed him, which is like one of, you know, like one of the acrobats or something with like their creepy smile and their like knife.
This is a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, in Vicious Clown.
Wow.
Right? So it's like not a horror, actually. It's like a drama about this clown getting framed and like the perspective that everyone else has of him.
Yes, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yes.
You might find yourself in the Twilight Zone.
Exactly. So
Wow.
anyways, right? I felt good about that.
That's a great one.
Call me Ron Sterling.
I've got one, and I'm going to do a kids movie.
All right.
So not a horror movie. I'm living up to the promise. This is an animated Pixar film of a cute little crab who has a bunch of little ocean friends. And it's a hermit crab, though. That's important. They're scuttling around on the beach having their little 3D animation adventures. But the thing about this hermit crab is he's really sad because he doesn't have a shell. And they're like, we need to find a shell. And they go on a quest to find the crab a shell. They're going through they have adventures, like a shark almost gets them. Somebody almost steps on them with their foot. They buy ice cream from an ice cream stand. You know, the general hero's journey of this little crab. But he can never find a shell that fits him. He's always a little too small, or it's a little too big, or, it doesn't smell right. Eventually, though, their journey takes them to a graveyard.
This is going places I didn't anticipate. Okay, let's go.
Turns out the perfect shell for our friend Herbie was nothing other than a human skull. And he puts it on, and it's a perfect fit. And Herbie's finally happy to go adventuring with his friends in his new home in Scrabbling Skull Crab.
What a perfect kids film.
Yes. It's more of an 80s, when they weren't afraid to really let us have it.
Let me tell you, there's plenty about the brave little toaster that traumatized me. All right. This is a sequel to Ratatouille. Right. Ratatouille is he's like tired of living his life of fame. Yeah. He's like exhausted.
He's been cooking a lot, pulling a lot of hair.
A lot. Exactly. Like everyone comes to his restaurant and they're like, we want to see him. We want to meet the rat who cook.
That's what they call him.
Yeah.
We want to meet the rat who cook.
And
take off your hat.
He's like, I need a vacation. And everyone's like, no, you have to keep working at the restaurant.
You weird rat.
Exactly. And so he runs away and he attempts to live anonymously.
He doesn't want a Tui no more.
No, he doesn't want a Tui. He just wants to rat. And so, he runs away and tries to live a nice life on vacation as innocuous rat.
Be honest. Would you recognize the rat of Ratatouille in a lineup of random rat?
No.
See, so maybe
Unless it was in our world and he was animated and the rest were rat.
So he might be okay in the end.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I've got a really cool movie. This one, I'm going to have it be directed by Denis Villeneuve because I want a real kind of dark but cool tech future movie here. We have a researcher played by, this is important, who's going to play this character. Cast who you like. But I'm thinking of, oh my God, why can't I think of her name? Anyway, it's really going to bother me. I have been having such a hard time with names.
Describe who.
You know, she was in Lost in Translation. That actress. She's married
Scarlett
to the guy
Johansson?
from SNL. Scarlett Johansson. See,
Okay.
that's why I'm concerned about myself. I forgot Scarlett Johansson's name. She's playing this detective. All right. So she works for this firm where you do investigations on, big time clients. It's really important stuff. Like if you hire her, you are hiring the best to go in there and do your dirty work and get down in the nitty gritty and find out what's going on with some crime. So this is a thriller. She's investigating, name whatever you want. And I'm going to name, she's investigating some big company for like horrible crimes. And she's getting down into the story of like what they've done. And it's horrifying what they're doing. They're poisoning people with their product. They're slowly dying. They're covering up the evidence of it or whatever. And the whole time she's like being followed by somebody. And she's like, yeah, this is somebody from the company who's been sent to kill me or whatever, because they know that I'm researching them and I'm going to find out their dirty secrets. But the twist in the movie is we find out that she is being followed by like a past version of herself who is trying to stop her from looking into this because it turns out that the real person who was doing the crimes was her.
What?
And she actually at the research job is not working for the research job, but is working for the company, and she's doing the poisoning through doing the research. We're going to have to workshop this script, but stay with me because it's going to be a really big, cool plot twist in stalked researcher.
Oh, all right. Love it.
So not only is she herself stalking herself to stop herself from investigating, she's also the person
She's
who's doing
also
the crime.
somehow the person doing the crime? Okay. I'm willing to ride this one out and see what happens.
Never has there been such a twist. Is it possible?
Twist and twist.
We'll find out.
Okay. This is a futuristic movie. I would say this is it's like a cross between the worlds of like RoboCop, and Minority Report.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is like futuristic, like police forces. And in this world, once you're on the police force, you get this like cybernetic like eye implant, right? You get an eye that is like a cyber eye.
You get eye.
You get an eye. It's like a cyber eye, right?
Okay.
And it helps, like it like takes video footage. It like takes snapshots, right? It has like a log that can be gone back through.
All right. Black Mirror.
Yes,
Go on.
Exactly. And this guy just like is worried about, like, he kind of starts to, this cop in the system starts to be like, oh my goodness, classic, maybe we're the bad guys.
Yep.
Right.
Are we the baddies?
Are we the bads? And so he kind of starts like trying to investigate other police, but then it turns out in the middle of the night, his eye like will crawl out of his head. Like a little spider eye will crawl out of his head and go and do surveillance against him because it knows. But then it like crawls into, like the underground of like the resistance to try and surveil them at night, and they catch it. And then they manage to like rewire and tinker with it so that it does surveil the cops that he wants to. And that's how he meets up with.
Okay, it's a hero story.
Exactly. The people in the resistance. Classically, like he definitely falls in love with one of them. Anyways, maybe it ends happy. Maybe it ends sad. Who knows? But it is Creeping Peeper.
Oh, wow. That's a great movie. I would definitely watch that. We've got some cool options this time around. The next movie I really quickly want to pitch you is set in the 80s, which will become necessary, which so is this set, I suppose. And it's about like a teen, and like all she does is like sit in her room and call her friends, and they have like party lines, and they sat and chat, and eventually like she'll be on a party line and she'll hear somebody be like, "Oh my gosh, you should tell Bethany that, her hair looked so bad in school yesterday." She'd be like, "By the way, Bethany, your hair, like, wasn't that so silly what you decided to do with it?" And Bethany's like, "Oh my God, how could you say that? I love that hairstyle." She's like, "Wait, well, somebody, like, said that in this call, and I'm just backing them up. And somebody's like, no, nobody said that in this call. And she's like, yeah, somebody did. And anyway, this keeps happening. And like she keeps kind of getting influenced to like,
I know what this is.
Do bad stuff at this phone call. And eventually like it's worse and worse. And it's like, you have to do this. You've got to go to your school and be sure to put a knife in
I'm into this.
This science teacher you don't like or whatever. And like she quickly becomes corrupted by her party line phone in living phone.
Yep.
Isn't that so cool?
Love
I
it.
kind of love that idea.
Yes.
I
absolutely.
think it's kind of creepy and cool. And also I love this card.
All right. This next one is, I would absolutely watch that movie. This one is like a horror themed PSA about recycling. Where like all these, right, like all these like early 20 somethings are like partying hard and they're like all drinking beers.
Yeah.
Specifically out of those like glass bottles, like pony neck beers, like in the glass bottles with the long neck. And then they don't recycle them, right? They're just like throwing them around the yard.
Come on, you 20-year-olds.
And then they're all asleep. And the glass bottles come to life and then try to choke them. And they all like have to wake up and like bash them with bats and put them in the recycling.
How does a bottle choke somebody?
It gets right along. It comes alive and its neck gets super long.
Whoa.
And they try and like strangle them.
Okay, great.
In grasping long neck. If you are trying to get people to recycle,
think
call
about
me.
that. Hey, I mean, a lot of cities put out PSAs about recycling.
I'm just saying, why not a horror themed PSA?
Exactly.
It would be very fun.
Oh, that would be great. Minneapolis, give us a call. We'd love to shoot this for you.
Yes, we would.
Wow, some truly great movies pitched here today.
Some really great films.
I personally am excited to see Demonic Council because it sounds just awful.
Absolutely.
And I think I'd have a great time at it.
Let's see. We also have Brood Spinner, Googly Eye Spider.
I love that card.
Ragged Playmate, and Trapped in the Screen.
Ooh, we didn't open what's it called. What are you taking out of this
Sheltered by
pack,
Ghosts.
by the way?
Ooh, okay, let's see.
I don't think you want the rare of Demonic Council because this is just a tutor.
Yeah,
for a
exactly.
demon.
I do like Trapped in the Screen.
Yeah, Trapped in the Screen seems good. I guess that's probably
Yeah,
what you're
that's
doing.
like probably pretty good. Let's see what else is in here.
The skull. I'm going to mention the Scrabbling Skull Crab. Somebody played a deck versus me where I saw 3 of them, by the way, in their deck, and they milled me.
Amazing.
So it can happen. It was not hard for them to mill me with this card. 3 of their card.
Probably, gosh, I might take Trapped in the Screen.
Yeah.
Love a piece of removal.
Yeah. Okay.
Might take this Brood Spinner and see if we can make a fun graveyard deck. I don't know.
Yeah. There's some fun options. Can't wait, like I said, to get in those queues. And, City of Minneapolis or Hollywood, give us a call. Thank you so much, friends, for listening to this episode of Good Luck High Five.
Yes.
You hear that sound? That's the sound of my pre-release deck.
Nice.
I hope you all had fun at your pre-release.
You hear that sound? That's the sound of me clapping 2 boxes of Dragon Shield sleeves together. Thank you to our
sleeves
sponsor,
clap.
Dragon Shield.
Listen to the sleeves clap.
Okay.
Check out our sponsors.
Thank you to Eric. Thank you to Matt. Thank you to Card Kingdom. They'll come to your house.
Thank you to Dragon Shield. If you want compliments on your sleeves at any pre-release or other event, go check them out. Become a patron at patreon.com/GLHF Magic before our next episode. We would so love to have you.
Yes.
You support the creation of this and also our Commander episodes over in Commander Arcade. Go sub to that channel if you haven't already. That's youtube.com/@GLHF Commander. Our Duskmorn episode is very fun if you haven't caught it yet.
It's great.
Megan is the arch enemy.
Aren't I always?
Well, yeah. Yes. And also double
For
arch
real
enemy.
this time, yeah.
Playing Aminatu, which is a super sweet deck to see in action.
Loved it.
And if you're like, I don't know if I want to play arch enemy with my friends, what's that about? You can check out that episode and see if you might want to do that. So very exciting stuff.
Producers, stick around.
Producers, stick around. We got more episode for you. Everybody else, have a spooky day.